Much following all of this. This is an anomaly, this announcement time, and I know it always seems, oh, you're just doing a commercial for Apple. We're trying not to, but it is an industry bellwether. It is an economic bellwether. A lot of people buy Apple stock as sort of like a mutual fund, a proxy on the economy in general, much as they used to with GE in the old glory days of General Electric under Jack Welch. It's not quite so simple, but suffice it to say that a lot of folks watch Apple, hope for a turnaround, even if they don't own it, because it could represent a turnaround in technology. And does the technology needed? The NASDAQ is underwater on the year, and Apple stock, which had been up north of $3.50 a share earlier in the day, up under 50 cents right now. So it's a lot of those gains have faded. Now, again, we're going to hear these announcements as they come in, and again, others hope to move in sympathy or in support of that. But you know the drill. This is the first time with an Apple announcement, both in the 5 days prior and the 30 days prior, the stock has fallen so precipitously as it has. Now, that's not all Apple's fault. I hasten to add, we had that China thing, we had a global sell-off thing, things that Apple cannot control. There's no app for avoiding that, by the way. But Apple got caught in the downdraft, and it is what it is, and the pressure's on, and we're there. And we figured that, it was a free trip for Jolene. She likes San Francisco. I say, hey, come on. No, kidding. All right, now we got tech experts here. Russ Frushtick. We've also got the author of Becoming Steve Jobs, Rick Tetzeli. All right, Rick, what are you expecting out of this? I mean, there's a lot of pressure. Apple's got to do something. What do you think?
Well, the thing that I'm looking forward to most is some development on the Apple TV front. I think that's the weakest point in, what Apple likes to describe as the Apple experience.
Wouldn't they be late to that experience? There's Hulu, there's all these others that are doing this.
They've been late to many things before and come through in a big way. But they don't have any content, we're told.
You need content to make that thing go.
Yeah, they can stream a lot of content from other people, and if you've tried to work some of these devices on your TV recently, there's clearly a ton of room for improvement.
What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm really pumped about the Apple TV. Of all the announcements, it's probably the one thing.
It's not a physical TV, right?
No.
It's the box.
Right.
It's upgraded to be what?
It's just the box. You plug it in like you would like a Roku or like an Xbox even. You just plug it into your TV.
Well, what makes it better than the other one?
Yeah, so the theory is that this is essentially going to be running iOS apps. You have this marketplace of thousands and thousands, tens, millions even of iOS apps that could then run on your TV. So you have games, you have all of the apps that you've paid for already. So it's kind of a good deal from a consumer perspective. The other, the new phones and the new iPad, kind of cool from a techie perspective, but not the most useful products. Apple TV could be really handy.
All right, then I wonder about the pressure on the iPhone's success, and does it have to succeed? Aren't a lot of people still stuck in contracts? I know some of the companies are easing up on those, but even if they want to buy, they can't.
That's true, but I think every time Apple's introduced a version of the iPhone, we've all been prepped for disappointment, and we've all been surprised at how well they've done afterwards. And I think it's going to be the same thing.
Well, is there an iPhone 7 next year at this time?
There will be. There will be a next iteration.
Every year we go through this Pavlovian response to what they do.
And I think, I think we will for many years.
Yeah. China's a wild card, too.
Yeah.
Not only as a market, but as the place where they make a lot of this stuff, right?
Well, it's interesting because they've actually pulled back on the C model, the cheaper model that they essentially made for these emerging markets. So they're pulling away from that. They're trying to solidify themselves as this premium brand with all of these products.
All right. Now, Ralph versus are we looking at those live shots in San Francisco? Slightly delayed. All right. Now, I know you guys know this far better than I, but normally right at the end, they say, oh, yeah, one more thing. Steve Jobs was famous for that. And that turned out to be the big announcement. That was the big announcement for the original iPhone. That was the big announcement for the original iPad. What is going to be the one more thing today, if there is such a remark?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think people, essentially all the announcents were effectively leaked before the press conference happened.
So yeah, that never happened.
That's the big difference. That's the big difference between now and when Steve was around. There's this whole cottage industry about ruining the announcements, basically.
Yeah.
And Fast Company, where I'm from, is sort of part of that industry. And
you guys started it.
Well, we do that, and it's very hard for there to be one more thing that truly.
Well, what would be the market? Let's say for a larger iPad, who would use that? It would even have a stylus, I'm told.
Yeah, so that's more for design folks. I mean, that's a large iPad that you're holding there. That's not.
This is my Bible.
That's your Bible, exactly, but it's not ideal.
I want one that's 30 inches. Have you ever seen Shep Smith's show? Shep has like these gigantic gigantic.
You can't even hold
screen.
them. It's like a desk.
Yeah, he can't even hold them. He's tried to take them out of the studio, but they're gigantic screens.
Yeah.
Is that the way the world's going?
I think it is, and I think there's so many people who would use it. I mean, in my family, my son and my wife would ditch their laptops if Apple comes out with an iPad Pro and a decent keyboard. That'll be it. And you know, it's ironic because it's killing off what Steve Jobs himself started.
Right.
You know, the personal computer,
his own laptop sales.
It's going away.
Yeah.
It's all about evolution.
But imagine if you had a screen big enough to read a newspaper because it was the size of a newspaper.
Sure. That seems really inconvenient.
I have no idea.
Exactly.
We shall see. All right.